So today I'm going to be presenting just a coastal case study that you can use, which is just an extra one. I really do like this one, even though it's a very small part in the textbook, but I've done some extra research into it, and it's a pretty good case study. So it's about Kiribati, um, or if you could call it Kiribati if it makes it easier to memorize. I might call it that just to help memorization, but it's pronounced Kiribati. I actually looked it up. So in the AQA A-level geography course and in the topic coasts. So the location, it consists of 33 islands in the Pacific Ocean, stretching an area almost as large as the USA. It's very low-lying sands and mangrove atolls. In most places, almost a meter or less above sea level. It has been predicted that in the next 50 years, the island could disappear under the sea. In some locations, the sea level is rising by 1.2 centimeters a year, which is 4 times faster than the global average. The majority of the population live off limited productivity of the sandy land, high productivity of marine areas. So some issues is that people in Kiribati are observing extensive coastal erosion taking place, not only of the beach, but also of the land, displacing now some of them from their traditional house plots since the early 1900s, and felling coconut trees and other varieties of vegetation at coastal areas. The country became independent in 1979 and is a least developed country and has a population of 78,000 in 1995. The Republic of Kiribati is one of the most vulnerable countries to the effects of sea level rise and climate change. Continuous efforts made by Kiribati to participate in global action programs to address climate change and its adverse impacts. So some strategies to mitigate effects of climate change. There's a growing sense that Kiribati should do what they can to mitigate and adapt to impacts of climate change. Strategies such as strategies in the energy sector and more appropriate technologies. For adaptation, this sector considers important coastal zones, water resources, agricultural systems, and public health. Sustainable development is planning for climate change and sea level rise. This requires that the planning process should be participatory. Public awareness raising and cooperation in scientific research are important programs for capacity building strategy. They are considered as important elements in national action program to address climate change. So in the future, the president of Kiribati has finalized in 2013 the purchase of 20 kilometers squared of land on one of the islands, Fiji, 2,000 kilometers from Kiribati. Rising sea levels are contaminating groundwater sources and affecting the ability to grow crops, so fishing and agriculture will be moved to Fiji to ensure the nation's food security. In the future, people could move there from Kiribati, which is now recorded at 131,200 people. The government launched a policy, Migration with Dignity, which allows people to apply for jobs in neighbouring countries like New Zealand if the island is submerged. Kiribati's population will become one of the first environmental refugees. In terms of the ICZM, it has been strongly advocated as the key planning framework for adaptation, and the objectives they set out was to avoid development in areas that are vulnerable to flooding, ensure that critical natural systems continue to function, and to protect human lives, essential properties, and economic activities against the ravage of the seas. Strategies advocated are retreat, accommodation, and protection. And that is all. Thank you.